pleasure, it's my honor to introduce to you the next President of the United States, Rubio.
I'm not sure who brought Barack Obama's teleprompter, but I wish I could move it so I can see it. I am really honored to be here. I want to thank Tom for that introduction. I want to thank Adam Hasner, our other chair, and so many people that are helping us across the state. And I want to thank the chairman of the Republican Party, Blazing Glory. He is doing a great job. I just signed the paperwork to be on the ballot. I'm the first person to sign the paperwork to be on the ballot for president. But it had to be notarized, so they asked me to bring my ID. I kid you not. I said, Google it. You'll see, it's me. All by the book. So we're grateful and we're honored to be with you guys today. Look, I think over the next few hours, perhaps day and a half, you're going to hear from some excellent people that are choosing the presidency. And I think we as a party are blessed to have so many good candidates. The Democrats may even come on the run. I can tell you this, you know why our vote is so strong? There's some big differences between the Republicans and the Democrats running for president. For example, we don't have any socialists running in the Republican Party. And none of our candidates are under investigation by the FBI. This is an important election. They all are important. This election is a generational choice about what direction our country will take. For over 2 centuries, each generation of Americans has chosen to do what it takes to make America a special country. And as a result, every single one of us are the beneficiaries of the extraordinary miracle of the American dream. Now the time has come for this generation to make its choice. And it's an important choice, for we cannot afford another 4 years like the last 8 years. The last 8 years, the last 7.5 years under Barack Obama have been a disaster. And not just a political disaster, a disaster for real people in the real world. Now, if you are a very wealthy individual, congratulations. If you're a multinational corporation, we wish you much success. They may not like all the Obama policies, but at the end of the day, they can afford to hire the best lobbyists in Washington, the best lawyers around, to deal with all this stuff. The price of the Obama years is being paid by hardworking men and women, working families all across this country, who today are struggling to make it paycheck to paycheck, because our economy simply doesn't grow, and the jobs that it creates under this president do not pay enough. The people paying the price are young Americans, some straddling thousands of dollars in student loans that they borrow for a degree that doesn't lead to a job. The price is being paid by people who own a small business, the very backbone of our economy. And yet today, for the first time in 35 years, we have more businesses failing than starting. The price is being paid by America's prestige in the world. Each day brings news about another humiliation at the hands of Russia, at the hands of China, at the hands of radical jihadists, at the hands of Iran. The last 7 years have been a disaster, and the price is being paid by our people. And we reach this moment now where we must decide what we are going to be as a country for the next 50 to 100 years. A generational choice for our nation. And as we prepare to make that choice, I think we can take lessons from our history. For it is the principles of our founding that have made our nation special up to this point. And they also happen to be the principles that our party should always be about, whether it's at the local level, the state level, the statewide level, or the presidency or the Congress. What is it that made America special? 3 core principles that sadly some in both political parties have completely abandoned. The first is limited government. We know that every answer to our problems does not have a government solution. And the federal government is not the answer to every issue before this country. In fact, the federal government was defined and created to be a very specifically defined and limited government. It was not supposed to be involved in every aspect of our lives. We were never supposed to have the federal government K-12 education. That's why we don't need common core. The one thing our federal government must do, and only our federal government can do, is provide for the common defense, the national security of the United States. But today, under this president, we are failing in that regard. $1 trillion of defense cuts awaits. And what does that mean in practical terms? The smallest and the oldest Navy and Air Force ever. 40,000 positions slashed over the next 2 years from the Army. And a time when the world is more dangerous than it's been in my lifetime. A lunatic in North Korea has dozens of nuclear weapons. The Chinese are building up their military faster than any nation ever has, as they take over the South China Sea and hack into our computers and practice blowing up our satellites. A gangster in Moscow is sowing instability in Europe and now in the Middle East. A radical Shia cleric, which is what the Ayatollah in Iran is, a radical Shia cleric, is about to receive $150 billion of sanctions relief thanks to Barack Obama. And he will use it, not to build hospitals and bridges and roads. He will use it to sponsor terrorism, to kill Jews, to kill Christians, to kill Americans. He will use it to build a long-range missile of his own. And he will one day use it to buy or build a nuclear warhead. And as if all these challenges were not enough, we now have multiple radical jihadist groups across dozens of countries and multiple continents. And in the face of all these threats, we are gutting our military capability. And that is why one of the first things this party must always be about is we must be the party of a strong national defense. History proves that the world is a safer, a better, and a freer place when America is the strongest military power in the world. By the way, providing for our national defense means keeping our commitment to our men and women who have served us in uniform. And if you are a veteran and you are here today, we are thankful for your service. We make the 2 promises. The first is, if we ever put you into hostilities, we are never going to put you in a fair fight. You're going to have better equipment, better training, and better information than any potential adversary. That is a promise we will not be able to keep if we continue the Obama policies on national defense. The other promise we make them is when you come home, after taking care of us, we are going to take care of you. We're not keeping that promise either. Today, the Veterans Administration fails far too many veterans. And there are good people that work at the Veterans Administration. They're veterans themselves. They care about our veterans. And then there are people that simply are not performing a good job. And that's why I'm proud that last year, along with another member of Congress from Florida, Jeff Miller, we were able to pass a law that says if you are a senior executive at the Veterans Administration and you're not doing a good job, the Secretary will have the power to fire you. And that's all passed. That's the good news. The bad news is they fire one person. And it's on appeal. Bad news is they awarded over $300,000 in bonuses to some of the people that should be fired. The second, so we need a VA that is accountable. We also need a VA in which the benefits follow the veteran, not the veteran follow the benefits. Which means if you are a veteran and the local VA can't see you, but another hospital down the street can, you will be able to take your benefits to any doctor or any hospital that's ready to see you. One in which our allies can trust us and our adversaries dare not test us. I only bring this up because we have the direct opposite. Our allies do not trust us. Our adversaries do not respect us. The best example of that is what's happening in the Middle East. There is only one pro-American free enterprise democracy in the entire Middle East, the State of Israel. Today we have a president who treats the Prime Minister of Israel with less respect than what he gives the Ayatollah in Iran. And that's why I am fortunate and blessed to be elected President of the United States. On my first day in office, I will cancel the deal with Iran that this president has signed. principle that our party must always be about is free enterprise. The free enterprise system is what creates. I'm grateful to be back home. I will spend some time over the next few weeks in Iowa, the nicest people in the world. Even the hecklers are cool. In New Hampshire, incredibly well-informed voters. In South Carolina, a state that's so vibrant. A state that in many ways embodies the promise of the new economy. Go Gators. Let's keep that on the low, down low. Well, probably too late for me. Anyway, and then Nevada, a state that I actually lived in for 6 or 7 years growing up, a place where I learned a lot about the American dream, watching my parents work hard. Then through the SEC primary, which, depending on how the Gators do at the SEC championship, I may make.
Roll Tide.
And then this extraordinary place, unlike any in the country, I think, because it brings so many people from so many places who passionately believe in the American dream because they've lived it. They too came from someone who did not come from privilege or political connection. They too had to come and restart their lives. And America gave them a chance to do what they never would have been able to do in another state or in another country. And hopefully, God willing, if it is God's will and yours, I hope that I am blessed with the privilege and the honor of trying to repay a little bit of the debt I have to this country. America owes me nothing. But hopefully I will be blessed with the opportunity to serve this nation in its highest office, because if we can do what needs to be done, you and I will go down in history as the authors of the single greatest era in the history of this great nation. Thank you very much.
David Dahl.